everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus, the He Don't Lose on Quarantine Edition. We're going to be doing an Eden run today for the first time ever. Let's see what we got. Okay, hold on. I want to ergonomic myself here. Controller, your wire is under my elbow, aggravating a little bit of ulnar nerve pain. So we're going to get the footrest in here. Armrests feel pretty good. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And honestly, statistically, I'm a big fan of this run already. Good damage, great rate of fire, HP's fine. We have, honestly, I'm not that angry. Well, okay, the run is now in a very, very good spot. Although our rate of fire took a serious hit. But I am not upset to have the Bible. And actually, this room pretty much just goes to show you what I was gonna bring up as evidence to support that hypothesis, which is that on the first couple of floors, having the ability to fly can actually open up a lot of avenues of support for you. Obviously, not getting the nickel kind of stinks, but we still got like 7 cents. Very, very solid. Now, just don't let hubris be your downfall. You know, we've talked a lot about hubris lately, and I think that you probably don't need yet another Macbeth metaphor. So maybe we'll go with the modern Macbeth, Spring Breakers. I've never seen Spring Breakers, but I've seen scenes from Spring Breakers. See, that's what I was concerned about, something like that. I don't really want to go into the big room. I'll take the pill now. I'm waiting it out. Honestly, this is the exact anti-hubris methodology we need in 2020. We stan a king who takes precautions, who is willing to wait as long as is necessary to enter a pharmacy or a grocery store to pick up essential items only, to not put himself in harm's way, to wash his hands when he enters and exits any public space, and who doesn't let his whole streak fall apart thanks to the existence of a meme-based pill. Now, very important. We slow our roll temporarily. See, that's beautiful. We want to see consumables. That's very nice. A key allows us to enter the shop, which allows us to not be placed in a position with any kind of danger, in all likelihood. Most important thing... Yo, I must have played a lot of this game. I actually remembered that that's the champion who splits. We want to approach that guy slightly with more concern because he is a champion. He could hit us really nastily. And we got a bomb. The bomb would allow us to get the nickel. I don't know if there's any other good opportunities for me here. I think I'll just wait this one out. And it's Ragman. We definitely want / need to be able to fly. Definitely do not walk into the head. I think that could pose a serious threat. But look, super bandage showing up, that extra heart. We can all breathe a little easier. 2 meters away from each other, please. Is very nice. And we have enough money and enough HP to make an arcade very worthwhile. Things are looking nice. Things are looking good. Whew. I mean, it wasn't spicy. The only reason it was a little spicy is because we actually got hit by an enemy. But that enemy never should have hit us. I don't know if we could have... Oh, now that I think about it, it wasn't even an enemy, it was a bomb. That's the only thing that could really hurt us at this point. Because if an enemy started running at us, what would we do? Well, just don't panic. Press the direction button. That will cause him to get hit. And in all likelihood, within 1 shot, they'll be killed. Maybe 2. Maybe 2, but probably 1, honestly. In fact, if there's multiple enemies approaching you might be able to take out like 3 or 4 in a single hit like we did right there. Maggie's bow is borderline takeable. Let's try Deep Pockets. It's not like we need the money for anything else right now. But I guess we needed it for a reroll. But I think we'll try to get a little funkier. I think we're fine on HP. Obviously, Gemini's not super good here. That is a worse book, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Okay, so 1 bomb would have allowed us to get that. That's another one you can chalk up for Maggie's bow. Look, here's the thing. I've been talking about hubris. I've been talking about HP. But Maggie's bow giving you an extra added advantage to have a to having red hearts. That's a coward's play. Even 2020 NL doesn't respect the coward's play. That was a solid move. I'm proud of myself for that one. Okay, let's try one financial reroll. I think that's fine. It's not great, and poison damage is almost certainly a little bit overrated in my worldview, but I think that is a little bit more useful for us. So let's cut our losses and get the heck out of 10. Get the heck out of 10. I don't know why I said it like that. Can I be honest with you? I know why I said it like that. It's because we get it. You've been watching Peaky Blinders. No, I haven't even seen an episode of Peaky Blinders. I was thinking about letting them do my wardrobe for next season, though. Well, maybe fall. Maybe fall. No, it's because I've been talking a lot today. You know, this is good gulp, brother. I think we're gonna do it. We gotta be a little spiced, but I still think it's worth it. And now let's go into the boss trap room and see if we can make something happen there. An Eternal Heart would slap so hard. Or 2 Eternal Hearts. Even okay, but don't take both yet. First off, if you get hit, you could do something and you could pick up the other one later. But secondly, we don't want to screw ourselves out of being able to go into the mob trap or boss trap room. No, it's because I've been talking a lot today. You know, I opened up today a couple One Step from Eden videos. Those use 33% more brain power than usual to begin with. Then we did Checkpoint League. I had my hardest test of the season. It's still not worth it in my world. We had our hardest test of the season so far against Bear Taffy. And, you know, those are hard levels as well to begin with, obviously. Not easy. They don't call it the easy Checkpoint League. Just ask Dan. And then, you know, a little, well, I did a co-op stream with Kate because we didn't do one on Thursday, so you're bantering, and that uses a lot of brain power. And then I did a Northernlion tries of a game that was, like, literally one of a kind, where you're a Xeno, aka alien biologist, piloting a ship that you've never, or a suit, I guess, that you've never experienced before, because it was invented bespoke for the game. So we're working with, like, brain glycogen is pretty low. On the other hand, I did have 2 samosas. Yeah. So look, we got a little rice. We got a little tandoori chicken. We got a little, some peas, some diced carrots going on in there. As they get digested, the pancreas releases the enzymes that break those materials down into glucose that my body can use. Hopefully my body will see fit to direct some of that glucose to my brain so that I can actually say things that are coherent. That would be nice for the first time ever. There's a first time for everything. Okay. We have to be a little cautious. This actually might be a blessing in disguise. Not allowing me to spend HP here strikes me as a win for me and thus for you. Because don't you get the most pleasure out of me winning? I think there's like a... I actually do think we want that, to be honest. I think it's like a logarithmic scale. I think if I win now and then, they're like, just entertain me. Which I shouldn't say it like that, because that's kind of what I'm here for to begin with, but you get the idea. They're more interested in the entertainment factor. And if I, it really requires a situation where I win a lot until people are like, okay, you know what? You got me very slightly invested in what's happening in Isaac right now. For a long time, you know, we had made the... Sure, that's not bad. We'd said, you know, Isaac is more of like, and it still is more of an anecdote-based play for us than, you know, specifically caring a lot about what's happening on the screen. But once the streak gets up there in the, you know, mid-triple digits, you do start to... I think you would be lying. You may not care about the streak, but you certainly care more about the run than you do about the average run 6 months ago. That's... Even if you don't care, you care more. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I can feel it in the comments. Because the comments are way less like... hey, I disagree or agree with his grocery store thing, I'm going to take it. I think we're in a good position for that. We lost HP on it, and we lost tears. We gained a little rate of fire and a little speed. I'll take it. The comments are way less like, here's what you could have done on this run, and way more like, Poggy, dude, he's doing it. He don't lose on quarantine, which I want. I like that atmosphere. If in lieu of professional sports, we could make this atmosphere encompass some of the elements of professional sports audiences without some of the more cringeworthy stuff. And I'm not a ha-ha-ha sports ball kind of guy. You know, I like sports, and you know, I go see a few Canucks games a year, probably more next year, to be honest. If the season resumes by then, I don't want to be a downer. Yo, that's so good. But, you know, oh, okay, maybe it's not that good at hindsight, actually. I'm trapped. This is a bad canal to be in. Why would... I short-circuited my own brain there. But there are cringeworthy parts of sports audiences. I hate to say it. And you already know this about me, because every time I go to a game and I talk about it, on the next Isaac episode, there's usually like a 30% chance I'm like, the guy who was sitting next to us was a drunk, you know, a-hole. If you want to go to the game, have a couple of pints, cheer loudly, that's fine. But usually, it depends on the game. You know, when I saw a game the Canucks won like 8-3, audience was pretty great for that one. I saw a game that was tight, that they won 2-1. And the atmosphere was a little bit more incendiary. Once you got into the third period, people were like, what are you doing, you idiot? And I'm like, I mean, I get it, you paid $80 for the ticket, but my man, you're yelling at like an 18-year-old kid. And then, well, we don't want any of that. I've been to some losses as well, and the losses are usually like, by the time it becomes clear that you're gonna lose, some people start to lose their minds a little bit. Anyway, so if we could have all the elements of like the positive elements of the in-arena experience, the cheers, the thrills, the chills, the goosebumps, and then the na 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 na, you know that one? A classic song, an all-time classic. I was gonna say, before I came in here, because we have Curse of the Blind, I will only take a double-priced item, and we held by that. Not a superb double-priced item, but decent, especially because our rate of fire is pretty bad. This provides some nice secondary damage. And now this is where we put the chokehold on the game. From this point onwards, you would assume, hey, buy some items. It's not the way I live anymore. I'm not that guy anymore. I mean, I will buy that one because it was half price. But now I'm like, as soon as we've got the win 98% locked in, I don't start, you know, spinning around in circles 100 times and being like, let's put some risk on this one. Instead, I go full Ivan Drago, I must break you. Now, it's not a great metaphor, because Ivan Drago... I don't want to spoil Rocky 4. Ivan Drago does lose, though. It would have been much better if he won, because that would have spared us from Rocky 5. But sadly, that's not the case. You know what I was thinking today? Because, you know, we've been doing this checkpoint league thing, which has been a staggering amount of fun. People, my competitors, they keep typifying their matches against me as David versus Goliath. And I'm always... It's made me more analytical about how stupid that metaphor is. They always use David versus Goliath, not just my competitors, but, you know, like sportscasters in general, to talk about like a huge underdog matchup. It's David versus Goliath. Yeah, but we already know, thanks to the biblical story that was in VeggieTales, that Goliath loses. So isn't Goliath actually like the biggest underdog possible? Like if they did David versus Goliath 2, David would be the favorite. We already know the... You know what I mean? I understand the spirit of the idiom, or the comparison. At least don't get me wrong on that one. I'm just... We were so close to greatness there. So close to perfect dodges. And I'm like, you keep being like, this is David versus Goliath, and I'm David. I'm like, David won, dude. You're not an underdog if you pick the guy who won. I don't know. This is just banter. Like, honestly, I don't actually have a bone to pick. It just dawned on me that I was like, we should... Very strange positioning for this. We should stop referring to it as David versus Goliath as if, like, nobody's given David a chance. Everybody knows David's gonna win. It's an inspirational story. It's extremely well known. The Hermit. I don't think we need to put the chokehold on this one. Are we on? We might be on depths 2. Hold on. No, we're on depths 1. Okay. We're fast, but we're not that fast. So this shop, I don't really care. Next shop, it wouldn't be the worst thing to have some kind of teleportation card. And I'll tell you, I'm feeling pretty good after, and well, I should, to be honest. Anytime I have a rhyme like that, now all I can think of is My Way by Frank Sinatra. I'm feeling good, and well, I should. I had the problem, left it on the highway. That's not how it goes. I'm not a good singer, by the way. I'm not trying to say that was at Frank Sinatra's level. Nah, that's okay. We don't need that. Oh, you're toasted. Immediate toastedness. This is why I took experimental treatment, was the hope that we could maybe get closer to Spun later. And of course, that's a great item. And we'll just head down to the next floor. How do you like your toast, by the way? This is where we're at in quarantine discussion. Been inside for a long time, started eating a lot more toast. My wife's been eating more toast as well. We have a nice toaster. I'm not gonna lie to you. I bought it before the adpocalypse. That's my justification. We're still making payments on it, but it was worth it. Hold on. Not a secret room. I don't think I want to lose a spirit heart at this point in the game. This who's talking right now? Is this Northernlion? Ring ring. The old Northernlion can't come to the phone. Why? He's dead. But no, we have a toaster that's pretty nice. I've never had a toaster like this before in my life. Normally, toasters I grew up with, it has like a scale from 1 to 5, and you just learn via trial and error where you like your toast, you know? Like, I've always been like a 3.5 to 4 guy, honestly. If you like your toast on 5, you are a masochist. Like, black coffee is one thing. Burnt bread. A little burn is the price you pay sometimes to get that really deep brown that you might like. And trust me, I don't mind the bitterness, but I don't know if this is true, so I should avoid speculating as if it is. I always heard, like, well, over the past, like, 15 years, started to hear that, like, burned foods are actually a known carcinogenic agent. Can someone... I mean, obviously, you're not going to post a link in the YouTube comments, but, like, can someone source that and tell me whether or not that's true? I've never looked it up for myself. I've always just been like, oh, okay. It's not like you're missing out. I'm not just not eating burned food as much, but... don't get me wrong, I like a little char, a little bark, if you will, but that's not how I would make my toast. Hold on, is that a tinted rock? It is not a tinted rock. I will not use the resources to get that stone chest. So yeah, I like all of the toast to be browned. I don't think we take... We can take it later. We can take it after we beat Mom if we decide that that's in the cards for us. So I'm actually going to do this because I want money. We can use this money to buy more spirit hearts to keep us alive. But I don't think we're going to take Judas' Shadow, to be honest. I don't see that in the future for us. But our new toaster has, like, one of the most ingenious features I've ever seen. It has a countdown, which I know you're like, ooh, fancy. But, like, that seems like something that would just be nice on a toaster to begin with, you know? Unless you have a toaster that is, like, one of those fancy drying machines, you know, where it's like, you know, it just auto-senses when the bread is toasted. Having the ability to program either, like, a time or at least have a timer appear on the toaster is so nice, so you're not sitting there Well, there's two reasons. One is you're not sitting there for like 4.5 minutes thinking it's going to go off any second now. The other one is you can prepare yourself so you don't get startled when the toaster goes ka-tunk and it spits the bread out of the top, right? I'm a big fan of this toaster. Kate doesn't like her toast as toasted as mine, you know? She is, she puts it, when this one is like a little like gradient scale almost from like 1.0 to 8.0. She's like a 2.5 to 3 toast preference, and I'm more like put myself in the 5.5 range. It depends. Depends how hungry I am. Sometimes I'm like, I'd rather have worse toast slightly faster. I'm not a discerning customer most of the time, at least when it comes to that stuff. I still don't want it, and I think we're making the right choice. I'll push back on your pushback. I think we're making the right choice. Now, I do love that. That's super nice. Now, what do we get out of this? Well, actually, we lose immediately. We make an initial investment of Krampus's head, and then we'll see what we get out of it. But it's going to take us a minute. At the very least, we're getting one deal with the devil. And we could take the negative instead of the Polaroid. And an item room and a shop. Probably not another boss rush, though. It depends on the floor. I mean, I'll level with you. Because we're already in such a good position, it's probably not too likely for me to worry about the shop so much, depending on our financial situation. Alright, well, I deserve that. You know what? Let's pop this and get funky up here. It's alright. That's beautiful. We'll burn off most of that I'm excited just by having gambled up there, but it can still come back to bite us a little bit. IV bag is not incredible necessarily, but the fact that we got a little extra money, and then really what I like about IV bag is that at some point this might become an item pedestal that we could do something else with, but could also make the difference in getting us a very useful item in the shop. Like black candle would be worth taking a little heat for. No, thank you. Blue candle, not quite. We might not need to, though. I mean, Pandora's box is kind of close, so I'll level with you. You know? Oh, we can't afford it. I think you do this. Still hurts. I think this is very worth it. I'm going to hit you with the real talk. I think that is worth it. And we'll keep IV bag with us. Well, no, we should honestly keep potato peeler with us. Because actually, the beauty of this, I think, is that potato peeler can actually be used for free in some situations. Now, I'm thinking, like, I've really got myself worked into a fervor over this. I'm flustered. I never thought of this before. At least, you know, before it happened. Maybe in the moment I've come up with this, but if you have a 2-heart devil deal and you have 2 HP in the potato peeler, you can use the potato peeler once and then take the 2-heart deal for 1 heart. Never thought about that. Well, it turns out this has paid extraordinary dividends. Although Brimstone Polyphemus is also very, very slow. So we might be happy to have Little Brim. We might be happy to have our orbitals working with us here. But suffice it to say, any enemy that gets in our way. That's late in the day, especially on like the last work day of the week for me. Really starts sounding like John Wayne there. It's still not as good as Rob's John Wayne. But I mean, he's a classically trained actor. What am I supposed to do? Oh, we'll check. I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say, because it may be the last time I'm ever going to say it. I think I might have made a mistake taking Brimstone. It's definitely not going to be catastrophic. We are still, for certain, going to win. And I say that not to be braggadocious, but because I don't want you feeling betrayed when I win, and you go, what the heck? I thought he was gonna, he made a mistake. He should be dead. We're still absolutely, like, 99% gonna win. But I think that we have traded too much to the game. I think we gave away too much rate of fire for a little bit of damage. But I'm also learning to live with my new normal, you know? As you can see, sack dagger. In the hands of a surgeon, a knife is not a knife, it's a scalpel. And that's what I think about sack dagger. If you don't know what you're doing with it, it can be extremely dangerous. But if you're an artiste with the steel, it becomes a scalpel. It becomes a lightsaber. You ever think about General Grievous? Have you seen Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith? If you're not familiar, the lieutenant bad guy in that movie, because he's not the big bad, but the probably second in command bad guy in that movie is a cyborg Sith by the name of General Grievous. He has 4 arms and an equivalent number of lightsabers. But he's also uniquely hamstrung by personal injury. I gotta be honest with you, and I know that the Force works in mysterious ways. They did not bring their best for Revenge of the Sith. Count Dooku was played by Christopher Lee, who was like literally in his 80s when the movie was made. Look, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that Christopher Lee, when he was in his prime, you know, wasn't he like an SAS spy or something like that? Like, in his 60s, he could take me now, without a doubt. You know, he's got like granddad strength. When you get to your 80s, you're kind of a little bit... Those are the years you should be, you know, enjoying tossed salads and scrambled eggs. I'll just take the Demon Hearts on this one. And then the Sith that replaces him, or moves up a level in the Separatist army, is General Grievous, who is formidable, don't get me wrong. He wields 4 lightsabers. However, he is an ex-humanoid creature who, after sustaining serious injury, volunteers to have his body placed into a cyborg shell. But unfortunately, he carries his asthma and emphysema with him. So he is, constantly, he's like, General Kenobi! And then he's like, I seek to add your lightsaber to my collection. And then he goes, and you're like, if you're gonna make a cyborg, why make him weak? I don't understand. Like, why wouldn't you just... You're already moving his brain into another body, and then he's maintaining his consciousness. Not being awake, but he's maintaining, you know, his consciousness. He's himself, you know? As you can tell by the fact that he still wears his battle cape from when he was a humanoid. Yes, I've read into it extensively. You couldn't just also fix his lungs while you were at it? Like, I'm not trying to be an ableist here by any stretch of the imagination. But you already transplanted, like, all of the man's organs into a new cyborg body. You couldn't also be like he never thought to ask, like, hey, while you're down there transplanting my soul into another vessel, could you fix the asthma for me? Maybe he's a bigger man than I. Now, I know you're going to say, NL, if you've done a lot of reading, then surely you know that in the animated Clone Wars series, they fixed that plot hole by making it so that while General Grievous escapes, parallel to the events at the start of Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on Count Dooku's battlecruiser, Mace Windu does a force choke on the chest piece of General Grievous's armor, causing shrapnel to enter his lungs, which gives him his cough, indicating that it was not actually a condition that was transplanted over from his original body, but rather was suffered as the result of, forgive me on this one, grievous injury at the hands of the most powerful Jedi Master in the cinematic universe. While I understand that indeed they did plaster over that quote-unquote plot hole, and I also very much want to say before I move onwards that I am not from the school of critiquing movies based on the number of plot holes that they have. I think a movie can have many quote-unquote plot holes and still be a better movie than a movie that is completely coherent but just not as interesting. However, I do sometimes take issue with the retconning of this stuff in the movies in order to satiate an increasingly pedantic fan base that thinks things can constantly be criticized, even though artful in an objectivist nature. If anything, I think General Grievous is almost a more interesting, albeit silly character, having some chronic respiratory damage despite being an all-powerful robot, as opposed to having that plot hole patched and being like, thank God now I can sleep at night, you know? But that's just my very brief thoughts on that subject. I hope you've enjoyed this little dalliance. I'm actually not a, I'm not really a Star Wars guy. You won't believe that based on what I said, and you would still be wrong, but I can understand your skepticism. But I saw on Twitter, it was like, hey, check out this cool Easter egg from the movie Revenge of the Sith. When General Grievous is about to wield 4 lightsabers, one of the battle droids elbows the other battle droid and goes like, hey, pay attention to this, you're not going to want to miss this. And I was like, you know what, that's a really cool moment in that movie. I'm not worried about the greater implications of, like, does that mean the battle droids have a soul? If the battle droids have that much intelligence, how were they all defeated by Jar Jar Binks in Episode 1? It just doesn't make sense, Rian Johnson! Anyway, I know that Episode 1 is not Rian Johnson. It's a multi-layered joke. And then I thought, General Grievous, what the frick is up with that guy? And then I read all the stuff that is... now I have passed it on to you, as you have seen. So, I will not use D100 until the final boss fight. We're going to use it for the final boss. Just to put a little bit more spice. This is not super dangerous. It is, at best... Actually, you know what? We should not do that. In my head, I thought we had 9 lives. So I was like, if we lose 1, no big deal. But actually, this could become, like, a very big deal. So I hope you'll forgive me my cowardice. We're going to use it earlier. Of course you thought I was going to be like, I'm not going to use it. No, no, no. That's not how I live. I'm at least going to use it that one time. It didn't really feel that bad, honestly, because the run was great, don't get me wrong, but it was not, like, spectacular. So will we D100 again? That depends on what it looks like, what the run looks like when we're going into the final boss, but as of right now, I'd say the answer to that question is probably no. And if you don't like that, why don't you go ahead and start a streak of your own, sweetheart? Sorry. It felt good to say, though. I'll take the occasional chance. And when I dance, I'll always do 2 steps in time, hey. I think it's left and down. That's how I'm feeling about this one. I think you are already dead. Dude, you know you played too much of this game. I mean, the enemies do have health bars, to be fair. But you know you played too much of this game when you can fire shots and just walk away and be like, I got you. I know you're dead. You don't know you're dead yet, but I know you're dead. Alright, so we will... What is this, 42? 41 or 42 wins in a row, man. What a world. Pretty amazing. This is, again, it's probably not even the second longest streak we've ever had, but we're definitely getting closer. We're definitely, like, building a real thing right now, which is wild. I really thought maybe our Isaac days, or really, let me rephrase, our days of being good enough at Isaac to play this consistently might have been behind us, but 42 wins in a row begs to differ. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And I'll see you next time. See ya!